In this video, we are going to go over Unit 1, Lesson 3, practice problems 1 and 2, just 1 and 2 for this one. So you are finding the area of the shaded region. In this, I've taken them from the workbook and put them on graph paper just to make it a little bit easier. And we have the first shape here, which, to be honest with you, the easiest way to do this would just be to partition this shape in a vertical fashion, kind of like this, and separate it into three smaller shapes. This one you can see has an area 4. So sometimes it's just easy, you can just count the boxes. This one here you can see has a base of 2 and a height of 1, 2, 3, 4. So altogether that's 8. And then the last box has a base of 2 and a height of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which would be 10. And then we can just add them together. 10 plus 8 plus 4, which give us a total of 22 square units. Now, we could have just counted all the boxes, but sometimes it's easier to partition the shapes into smaller sections so we don't mess up, okay? We don't want to mess up when we're counting. Okay, so now we have this one where we have this shape and we want to take 2 pieces out of the shape. So we don't want to include those 2 smaller, we're like, think of those as like windows. Imagine you're painting this wall and there's these 2 windows. You don't want to paint over the window. And you can see there's 4 units here and there's 4 units here. It's easy to see. You don't really even need to count. Okay, so we know whatever we get, we're going to have to take those 2 4s out. So let's see what the base of our shape is. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got a base of 6 units and we have a height of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. Here's that square, right, which we want. That's where they overlap. So we have a height of 6, a base of 6, and 6 times 6 is 36. That would be the area of the entire space, but we need to take these 2 4 units out. So we could either just do 4 plus 4 is 8 and subtract 8, or we can do 36 minus 4 minus 4 more. So that would be another way we could do it. 36 minus 4, which would be 32, minus 4 more, which would be 28. So again, either way would work, but we have 28 square units. This needs to be subtracted. We want to take that away. Same with this one. Now, the last one kind of looks like a house, right? So remember we learned about rectangles, and half of a rectangle, just like half of a square, is a triangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to complete this and make it one big giant rectangle. So I'm going to take the shape up and over, and I'm going to go up and over. And I can see now that I actually have one big giant rectangle. I can also partition it here and here and here, and I can see like I have 2 rectangles. And remember, half of a rectangle is a triangle. So I can see that I have a base of 2, or a height of 2, if you want to look at it like that, 2 units going up, and 1, 2, 3 going along the bottom. So I'm going to pull this out so you can kind of see this is what it is right here. So 3 times 2, which is 6. 3 times 2 equals 6, but we have half. So we want to divide that by 2. So then I know that this yellow space is 3. And I'm just going to write it in there. This is crown, so it's kind of hard. There we go. There's 3. Now, this exact same thing is on the other side. It's just reversed. So I'm going to show you 2 by 3. And here's the diagonal, right? So I know this is 2. I know this is 3. 3 times 2 equals 6, and half of 6 is 2. So now I just found this and this. Sorry, I actually did them wrong, but that's okay. All right, so this was 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. So now I know the roof of the house is 6 units. squared. And the bottom is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Or I could just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 2, which is 12. Put them together. 6 plus 12. 6 plus 12 is 18. So we got 18 square units. Okay? All right, so that is how you can find the area of these shapes using a grid. Just remember, whenever you have that triangle, you can actually look at this as two rectangles on top of another rectangle. They're actually the same. If you can see it, there's a 2 by 6 rectangle at the top and a 2 by 6 rectangle at the bottom, but we only have half of that rectangle at the top. Okay? All right, so there's the answers to lesson 3, question 1, practice problem. The next one, practice problem 2, takes the grid away. So now we have to just use the measurements. And I actually find this to be a little bit easier myself without the grid boxes. I like seeing the numbers because I don't have to count. I can actually just do what I know and multiply. So I'm going to start with the first one. And the first one has this little kind of like this little hook here at the top that's 2 by 2, right? So if I cut here, so if I just draw like a little divider line, I'm extending it out here to show you that I'm cutting that line segment. This right here is 2 times 2, which is 4. So we know that's going to be an area of 4, right? You can even write it inside if you want it to, but I'm just going to put it on the top. Now, the bottom gets a little tricky because a lot of people say they just want to go 6 times 6 is 36. But remember, we cut off some of that 6. We cut it off to find the area of this little space. This part that we cut off is 2. See the 2 centimeters? So 4 plus 2 is 6. So we know that this is 4. Because if this is 2 and the total is 6, this whole length is 6, right? The whole length is 6. We took 2 off. So that means it's 4. So this bottom part is 6 times 4, which is 24. So we've got 2 parts, 2 areas. Bottom is 24, the top is 4. Together, they make an area of 28 square centimeters. Okay? All right, this one is easier because this one is literally a rectangle with a smaller rectangle that needs to be removed. Remember, we need to remove this. We need to remove it or subtract. So I know the total is 8 times 5, which is 40. And then I'm going to subtract the smaller 3 times 2, which is 6. And 40 minus 6 is 34 square centimeters. Okay? Same with this one. These two are very much the same. Even though this is rotated inside, we can still subtract out the area of that rectangle. This one reminds me of a picture frame. We have a larger section and then the smaller section, and we want to know what the area of just the frame is, right? This is where the picture would go. So they're telling us, we don't even have to do any measuring or counting. They're telling us the base is 6 and the height is 9. And 6 times 9 is equal to 54 square centimeters. That's what's on the inside. The outside is 15 times 10, but we've got to subtract. We need to remove. So we want to subtract this. So the whole area, 15 times 10, 150, minus what's on the inside, 54. And that would be 150 minus 50 is 100, and then minus 4 more would be 96 square centimeters. Okay? All right. Last but not least, I'm going to complete this shape and make a rectangle, right? I can see that it's a triangle. So if I go up and I go over, see how I can kind of complete it? And I'm just doing a real faint little line. It's just like what we did with this one, right? Just like what we did with this one. It's like a house, but we're missing the bottom, right? So again, I have this triangle. If I complete it and make a rectangle at the top, then I know that I have two identical rectangles. One is 8 by 5 and the other one's 8 by 5. They're exactly the same. So if I find the area of one, I can just double it because they're the same. So I'm just going to kind of remove it so you can kind of see. I'm going to just sketch it. There's the 8, there's the 5. See it? And I only want half of that. So 8 times 5 is 40. And then I'm going to divide that by 2 because I only want half of it. I only want this part, which is going to be 20. So I know that this is 20. And because these are two of the exact same triangles, I don't have to do the math again. I mean, I can, but I can just take 20 and add another 20, and together that makes 40. See that? And again, I can remove this one so you can kind of see it. Here's the 8, here's the base and the height, here's the triangle, right? I just want this side. So 5 times 8 is equal to 40, but I need half of it, so I'm going to divide by 2, and that would equal 20. So together, these two triangles, the yellow triangles together, 20 plus 20 is equal to 40. 40 square centimeters. Okay? So there you have it. Questions 1 and 2 of practice problems, lesson 3.